everyone. Welcome. So as Anna mentioned, my name is Joanna Solis, and I'm currently the program coordinator for our current Civic Action Fellowship, and I'll be working with you all should you choose to join the College Corps for next year. And I'll talk today a little bit more about what a day-to-day looks like within our program, go over the requirements that are required to apply for our program, and then at the end offer, as Anna said, space for you all to ask any questions if you have them. And I know Andrea said she may have a meeting, so I don't know if she's on and would like to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I am here and I do have to hop to another meeting, but I'll quickly introduce myself. My name is Andrea Tully. I'm the Assistant Director of the Center for Community Learning and Leadership, and I'm one of the primary investigators on this program. Technically, it's a grant to our university, but we do call it the College Corps program. I'm going to leave it to Joanna to share more about this program. She has, I will say this and brag about you, Joanna. She has been an AmeriCorps member, and she has been a part of this program. This is 3.5 years. In many iterations. So this will be like the third iteration of this program. So she knows a lot and has a lot of valuable information to share.
Thank you, Andrea. All right, so I'll go ahead and share my screen. All right. All right, so as I said, welcome everyone. I'll give you all a brief overview. As Andrea mentioned, right now we've had several iterations of this program, but it all started back in December of 2018, which now seems long ago. And we were approached by our partner. So this is the Campbell Union Expanded Learning Program. So they run after school programs in the Campbell Union School District. They approached us with an idea to create a program. And unfortunately, at that time, it wasn't the right fit, but in this picture next to me is one of my colleagues, Luan, and him and I actually created what we call the UndcouSpartans program. So that's how officially this whole idea started. And UndcouSpartans became the inspiration for what is now going to be the College Corps. So in May of last year, we actually had Josh Friday come to campus and recognize our current program, the Civic Action Fellowship. So he was able to speak to some of our current members. They talked a little bit about their experience. And with a successful pilot of this program, we are launching now what will be the College Corps. So what is the College Corps and what you can expect from it if you choose to join us? So the Californians for All College Corps is for the first time a state level investment to service. So being part of the program at SJSU, students will be able to receive $10,000 to help pay for college expenses. And that is divided into a $7,000 living allowance and then a $3,000 education award. And then for the first time, we're going to have AB 540 eligible students apply for this position. So within SJSU, we have 10 designated slots for AB 540 students that are eligible and that should choose to apply for this program. So right here, a day in the life. So what that essentially looks like, you will predominantly be working with youth, and these are 3rd to 6th grade students during after-school programs, helping them learn computer programming concepts. And I will emphasize that you do not need to have computer programming experience. We teach you and train you in everything that you need to learn before meeting with these students. And right now, as you can see from the pictures up here, we have their mentors meeting with them, talking to them about saving money, spending money, and investing money. So this is just one of the lessons that we've implemented this year. And when you work with the students, you work with them and implementing what we call a kit. So a kit is a hands-on activity that first will introduce the Scratch project. So this is another example of one of the kits that the students implemented. So to your right-hand side, there's a social distancing game board. And this was designed by our members. So you'll have the liberty of working with the team and creating these hands-on activities. and essentially teaching them and introducing them to the computer programming concept hands-on before they actually do it using the Scratch website. So with this kit, for example, this game board taught them not only the importance of being civically engaged. So during the pandemic, what that meant was socially distancing, washing your hands, wearing a mask, etc. But in addition, this game board introduced them to the conditional statements, which is a computer programming concept. So for example, skipping a block would essentially be translated into Scratch the same way as in the game board. So like I said, this is first a hands-on activity that introduces these students to these concepts, playing them first with their fellow and then doing it in Scratch. So what this kit looked like for Scratch was the same idea. It was essentially taking the game board into a digital format. And we taught them again of the computer programming concept. So conditional statements, they learned about forever loops and if-then statements. And we asked that the students go into the program and or complete the missing code to make their program work. So as I said, the game board essentially taught them to skip blocks to avoid people that may be sick. And then the Scratch program did the same thing. So they learned, again, to emphasize civically engaged things that they should be doing. So wearing a mask, and they did the same thing digitally, as well as learning about the computer programming concepts. And that is essentially one kit and what the kids do with you when you meet with them weekly. All right. In addition to working with the youth, we also have opportunities for everyone to come together. So this would be the cohort of 100 SJSU students coming together during Friday seminars. And during these seminars, we do a variety of things and we cover a range of topics, but essentially we use this time to prepare you to work with the students. So for example, we've done programming bootcamp, which, like I said, you do not have to have experience in coding. We teach you everything you need to know so that when you meet with the students, you are comfortable learning and implementing the concepts that are the topic of that day. We also go over topics like educational equity, working as a team, how to work with students in a virtual setting, and then as well as helping you with resume, career, and interview skills, and so on. In addition to covering a range of topics, we also just kind of use this opportunity to come together. And these have been actually opportunities that we have this year for our current members to come together in person and do activities that promote their team building. So to the left, we actually hosted an event with our fellows. So this was homecoming. They got the chance to come together before the game. And then to the right, it has been one of our other hybrid seminars where our fellows came together and they did a paint party. So again, this is just a time for us to get to know each other a little bit more, build community, get to meet each other in person instead of just virtually, and building that connection with not only your team, but everyone else that is part of the cohort. So we've actually had the opportunity to ask our members the impact that they've had or that they felt that they've had being part of this fellowship. And as you can see from here, the first cohort completed 23,940 hours of service and 5,985 training hours, which was mostly sheltering in place. In addition to that, though, I will say that they have shared that they benefited from the program professionally. They've also developed a great engagement in their community and campus and increased awareness of self and others. I'll also share that fellows in conversation with myself have shared that if it weren't for them being part of this program, they maybe have not had met or heard from other college students from majors and backgrounds. So this has allowed them the opportunity to not only hear different perspectives on whatever topics we may be discussing, but also just broadening their network of not only just being within their major, but expanding their parameters and who they talk to by being part of this program. So it is we don't recruit from a certain major. We accept all majors, and this does, I will say, allow everyone to kind of get to know each other and hear different perspectives throughout the program year. So our application process. So our application is currently open. We are in the process of interviews. Our application, I think Anna put it in the chat. If you go to that link, you can find our application there. It is a Google form. We ask you to provide, answer some personal statement questions, upload a resume and transcript, and then we also ask for a background, for one reference as well. Our program starts in August with orientation, and it will end in June. And what we are asking in terms of eligibility is to be at least 18 years old, an undergrad student, a GPA of at least a 2.8. As I said, we do ask for one reference and then to complete background checks upon hire. For AB 540 students, and I could have Anna go over this in a little bit more detail if you have any questions. Those that are eligible are students with the California Dream Act, recipients for the 22-23 program year, and if they have Cal Grant A, B, or the State University grant. We are also asking that you have SSN or ITN to be part of the program. Then I don't know if you wanted to add anything else to this portion.
Thank you, Joanna. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, having some technical difficulties here. But when it comes to the, I'll respond to the social security number and IT number just to clarify. You don't have to have work authorization. So if you have DACA or TPS, more than likely you do have a social security number. But if you don't have one, you could use an ITIN number. And so an ITIN number is a tax identification number that most individuals who pay taxes in the country are able to obtain. So if you already have one for tax purposes, you can use that. If you don't have one, please feel free to reach out to us and we can connect you to some resources. We will also have, we're going to have a presentation next week where we're going to be talking about social security numbers, ITIN numbers, and other things related to taxes. So feel free to join us during that presentation. I'll drop the link to the sign up, but there are resources available for folks who may want to inquire a little bit more about what it would take to take out an ITIN, especially if they don't have a work permit.
Thank you. All right.
Sorry.
And as part of,
sorry, Joanna, we have a question and someone raised their hand here.
oh, okay.
If they would like to jump in.
Hi, so I was seeing the eligibility and it says that you had to apply for the California Dream Act for 2022, 2023. But unfortunately, when I wanted to apply, it said that I already had used the 4 years, so I didn't apply. Would that affect me applying for this?
Have you consulted with financial aid? Well, actually, no, let me keep it general here. We can talk more one-on-one. But okay. I think for me, I would want to dig a little bit more to see if you actually have an opportunity to qualify for additional financial aid for an extra year. I'm not very entirely sure, so maybe we can chat on the side to see what that looks like, but you would have to have a Cal Grant A, Cal Grant B, or State University grant after applying to the California Dream Act, because just applying to the California Dream Act alone doesn't guarantee you Cal Grant A, Cal Grant B, or State University grant. But most students that do apply for Cal Grant, the CADA for short, do obtain one of those 3.
Okay.
Yeah, but we can talk more one-on-one, and there's also some information on here at the end of the presentation where you can get connected to a financial aid advisor to ask them those questions, because they can dig a little more into that information.
All right, thank you.
Of course.
And so once selected, and if you're part of the College Corps, essentially you would commit to serving 450 hours during August and through June of 2023. Providing your primary service will be providing computer programming enrichment to small groups of 3rd to 6th graders. You'll also be working in teams to develop the enrichment materials and the kits that I went over. and you'd participate in trainings, team meetings, and seminars, as well as engage in any other service initiatives that we may have. And then I can go ahead and share right now the resources available to you all, and I can keep this slide up or also provide it to Anna. We could send that out after today's presentation.
That'd be great. Perfect. Yeah. So these are some of the offices that you can turn to as you're completing this application or as you're trying to learn, if you do qualify. We do understand that, we're looking at financial aid for the following year, and it might be that you haven't been packaged just yet. And so I totally encourage all of you that if you qualify for any of these 3 grants this year, go ahead and apply, right? There could be a high possibility that you might be able to continue to receive that funding. And if you're not certain, financial aid would be a good place to start to have that conversation and see what are your options for the California DREAM Act for next academic year. And like I said too, if you have questions in particular about the Social Security number or ITIN resources, please feel free to reach out. Even if you have concerns about, is it okay for me to accept this money, right, based on my immigration status? Because that tends to be a really real concern for some folks. We do have immigration attorneys that work directly with their students. And so you can always consult with an immigration attorney, let them know, hey, this is the program I'm applying to. Is this going to affect me down the line? They will be able to provide you legal advice on that end. But I think regardless, one thing that's really important to walk away with is that, one, this is not an employment opportunity, it's a volunteer opportunity, right? It's a service opportunity. And so this information will not be treated like employment, you should feel reassured that this information is going to also be protected, right? But if you have any questions about the program, the application process, or even additional opportunities for you to give back to the community, please feel free to reach out to Joanna or any of the amazing folks from the Center for Community Learning and Leadership. They're actually located here in Clark Hall, like right above us. We're located in the first floor, they're on the second floor. So feel free to, come by if you are on campus. If not, just reach out to us and, we will be able to connect with you virtually or over the phone.